Developers are swooping in to buy properties after the devastating LA wildfires, but one local nonprofit is working to keep the diversity and culture of the historic Altadena community. Greenline Housing Foundation made what's believed to be the first Eaton Fire lot purchase by a community organization. Jasmin Shupper is the founder of the nonprofit, and she's here to talk about the effort to prevent gentrification in Altadena. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Why are you leading this charge? Why is it so important to not gentrify even further? Because it was being gentrified before the fires.
Correct. I appreciate that question because what a lot of people don't realize about Altadena and how beautiful and unique it is because of the demographic, because of the diversity. And that's in large part informed by the history. I mean, you have a Black homeownership rate pre-fire in Altadena that was double the national average. And that is because, in large part, people of color face fewer obstacles in accessing homeownership in Altadena than they did in other areas, right? And so you have this really rich cultural legacy that is in danger of being wiped out if community organizations don't do something.
Well, and you started the foundation 5 years ago, so you're not new to this this work. It's not something that came from the fires. However, there's so much skepticism, it seems, right now of who is buying these lots, what is going to happen to it. How are you going to keep developers kind of at bay? How are you going to be able to compete? Because there's going to be tough competition out there.
Absolutely, and that's a great question because Greenline is one organization, right? We purchased one lot, which is significant and engendering hope in the community, but it's one lot out of many. And so in order to prevent the fabric of the community from changing by developers and speculative investors, it will require a coordinated effort among community members, among policy makers, and among housing stakeholders to really ensure that we preserve what Altadena is. And so where Greenline purchased a lot, there'll need to be other organizations that are also purchasing property, banking them, keeping them off the speculative market, and then working together, right, with the community in a way that's informed by the community to determine what do you want and what do you need in this rebuilding effort.
Well, it was interesting to me. I was recently out there visiting a friend who unfortunately did lose his home. He plans to rebuild.
Great.
Right, exactly. I know so he feels the same way with a number of neighbors also who plan to rebuild. But what was a little shocking to me is that as you're driving, you'll see "Keep Altadena," you know, the way it was, and then the next sign is a for sale sign.
That's
I mean, so there will be changes regardless.
Absolutely. And there's a sense of desperation too among a lot of people who feel very overwhelmed at the prospect of rebuilding and what that looks like and what that means. And so inevitably there will be people who need to sell or who want to sell. And if in any way community organizations, like I said, can come together with the help of policymakers and lots of capital, right, to further this land banking initiative. We kind of piloted the effort, right? But it really will need to be organized and scaled in order to effectively protect the community and keep it in community hands.
And you need some of this attention, don't you?
Yes. I mean, I don't love it, but like to the degree that it brings awareness to what we're trying to do, and we can accelerate those efforts because, you know, the reality is that this is an opportunity for developers. That you're talking about, you know, discounted land in large part, right? And there are profits to be made from that. But Altadena is not for sale, right? And that's a mantra that's kind of emerged throughout the course of the last several months. And it's because of how unique Altadena is and because of the history that informs that. It's just a really special place. We've had so many people reach out to us as an organization who are like, we have to sell, but we want to sell our lot to you because we know that you'll ensure that the future use of that land is in the community and for the community, and that our neighbors will be protected. And these are people who won't even be there to see that. But Altadena means so much to them that they're willing to invest in that, even if they're not going to be here to see it.
I just worry. I mean, this is just me. I mean, these developers have a lot of money.
So much.
How do you put safeguards in? Because they can easily swoop in, and people who may need the resources, it's really an inviting prospect to go with the developer.
Absolutely. And I mean, and that will happen. It has been happening. We did a report of all the lots that have been sold so far and who they went to, and it's already happening. But if we can, like I said, organize and scale an effort, and these conversations are happening all the way up to the state level as far as how can we deploy funds for this mass land banking initiative so that we can compete, like you said, with developers who have lots and lots and lots of dollars.
So there's going to be a competition.
It will absolutely.
Can you talk about your partnership with the Pasadena Foundation? Because I recently learned about this, and it's a really cool organization trying to come in and preserve, and you're working with them.
Yeah, so Pasadena Community Foundation is the organization that actually provided the grant for us to purchase that first lot, and I called them up up and I said, look, this is what's happening. This is relatively early on, right? When I kind of saw the writing on the wall as far as what developers were doing, conversations I've had with community members about how they've been approached. And so I said, look, let's do this first lot purchase together. Let's engender hope in the community. Let's give people an idea that no, we will not go quietly into the night, and we're going to fight for our community. And they said, you know what, let's do it. And that was significant because philanthropy typically doesn't act quickly, right? And that's often a critique. And in this situation, they need to. So there needs to be the concentration on that long-term organized scale effort. And there also needs to be fast capital and like some immediate, deployment that needs to happen right now. And again, that was significant because PCF got that.
Yeah. Well, I hope you find some other partners like them. It sounds like that worked out. So thank you so much for being here and for joining us today. For more information on Greenline Housing Foundation, check our website out, kcalnews.com, and click Seen on TV.